Hi, this is Dave, Fell Running Guide, and welcome to this week's navigation task. It's Christmas week this week, so a little bit of a light-hearted look at things where we've got a race between Santa and Rudolph. The important thing is, though, to understand the ability to estimate how long a route is going to take us is quite important. So they are racing from A to B. Santa is going at 8 minutes per kilometre. Rudolph is splitting the time 5 minutes per kilometre on the downhill and 20 minutes per kilometre on the uphill. So let's have a look at the route. So from A over to B at Grindslow Knoll, Santa's is the pink route, the contouring route. Rudolph's is the down and up the other side. So that's what we've got to think about. Realistically, if we were out doing it, how long would it take us? Now, that obviously depends on whether we're going out for an easy run or whether we're racing. A good thing to do is, if you use Strava or Garmin Connect, something like that, is to actually look back on runs that you've done and see how quickly you ran, see where your fastest pace was, see where your slowest pace was, see where your average pace was, and that way you get a good idea of how long it takes you to cover the ground. So that's something that you could look at in your own training and see how see what works for you. Obviously it depends on your fitness levels and things like that. So that's that. In terms of the times that I put down for Santa and Rudolph, are they realistic? Well, again, it depends on people's fitness levels. But what I like to think about is your 10k pace, how quickly you could do a 10k in on a road. And for a lot of people, doing a 10k in an hour is achievable. It's maybe not too difficult, but thinking about that, that's on flat tarmac. So how does that translate to running on the fell? So you're probably going to be slower than that running on the fell if you're running comfortably. If we've got to deal with rocky terrain, muddy terrain, uneven ups and downs and things like that. So something like 8 minutes per kilometre isn't unreasonable for an easy-ish run on fell terrain, even if it's flat. Certainly in winter when it's wet and boggy and horrible. In terms of the downhill and the uphill, well, interestingly, steep downhill doesn't necessarily make us run faster than we would on the flat. Certainly, if you get very steep, then we're limited by our leg turnover, how quickly we can actually get our legs going. And also, if it's steep heathery vegetation, it's difficult to run fast on that kind of terrain. So steep downhill doesn't necessarily mean faster running. Actually, gentler slopes would result in faster running than steeper slopes. So imagine a gentle downhill on good close cropped grass. That's actually going to be quicker than a steep downhill on heather. In terms of the uphill, well, we're obviously going to be slower. Again, it depends on the nature of the terrain. If it's a lovely grassy hillside or a really well-maintained track, we might go a bit quicker, but slogging steeply up a hillside through heather or bracken, it's going to be pretty slow going. So again, 20 minutes per kilometre might not be out of the question. So let's have a look at Santa and Rudolph's times. If we do Santa's to start with, so looking at that, we might estimate 2.5 kilometres. So from grid square there to grid square there is 1 kilometre. So you might look at that and estimate 2.5 kilometres. It depends on how accurate you want to be. It's actually a little bit less than that. So here I've measured it in my mapping software, and you can see it actually comes out at 2.38 kilometres. But for the sake of it, let's just round it up. We're going to call that 2.5 kilometres. So how long did it take Santa? So remember, he was doing 8 minutes per kilometre. So if my maths is right, it's going to take him 8 minutes for the first kilometre, 8 minutes for the second kilometre. So that's 16 minutes for 2k, and then 4 minutes for the extra half a kilometre. So 16 plus 4 is 20 minutes. So it takes Santa 20 minutes to do that. Let's have a look at Rudolph's. So we've split this up into down and up. So here we can see Rudolph's down is 5.5 kilometres. Again, let's just round that down. So let's call it 500 metres, so half a kilometre. And we said that Rudolph was going at 5 minutes per kilometre on the downhill. So that half a kilometre is going to take him 2.5 minutes for the down. And then on the uphill, well, this is easy because it's exactly a kilometre uphill. So we were saying that it was 20 minutes per kilometre on the uphill. So that's going to take Rudolph 20 minutes. So it's going to take Rudolph in total 22.5 minutes for his route. So our winner is Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, it took Santa 20 minutes. It took Rudolph 22.5 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of fun there, but a serious message behind it. Thanks for watching this year. Hope you've enjoyed these challenges. I'll be doing more next year, so make sure you look out on Thursdays for these navigation tasks. Bye for now and Merry Christmas.